Hi, I'm Jake, and I've been drawing Pokemon since I was 7 years old. In today's video I'm going to be sharing some designs for some Route 1 Pokemon for a Greek-inspired region. I'm going to be talking about their design process and their inspiration, then I'll be sharing their evolutions, dex entries, shinies, so if you like the sound of that, stick around for the video. Historically, the Route 1 normal type has been based on some kind of rodent, but the latest two gens kind of ignored that. So I thought, if we're not doing rodents, then what's the most common animal that's in Greece? And I think that's a lizard. To me, I think the Route 1 normal type needs to be a Pokemon that nearly every trainer has or can find in the region. So that's why I decided to go with the gecko or lizard idea, because they're just everywhere in Greece if you've ever been. I left its tongue sticking out to kind of evoke that feeling that it's a happy pet that some trainers would have. Introducing Geckarus, the wall climber Pokemon. Geckarus are so common that they live in nearly every trainer's house. They spend most of their time climbing walls to bathe in the sun. This little guy is speedy but frail and learns your bog standard normal type moves, and I threw in Lick because of its long tongue. And here's it shiny, but there's no particular reason behind the colour scheme, I just thought it looked cool. For Geckarus' evolution, I didn't just want to make a big lizard, so I actually based it off the extinct Icarus lizard, which allows for the link to the Greek myth of Icarus. So if you're not familiar with the myth of Icarus, it's about a man named Icarus who makes his own wings to try and fly off an island that he was trapped on, but he flew too close to the sun, which melted the wax that his wings were stuck together with, and then he fell into the sea and unalived himself. So here's Geckarus' evolution, Icarizard, the dreamer Pokemon. Driven by its dream, it leaps off tall buildings and terrain to attempt flight, but it can only glide for a short distance before falling. Its type is a reference to the Icarus myth, so I've purposely not given it the flying type, and so is its ability and its shiny colours, looking like it's got a suntan. I actually had the idea for the Route 1 bird Pokemon back in 2023, and it's going to be based on a hoopoe. So these were the original designs that I came up with. When it came to redesigning the first stage, I knew I wanted it to be a chick, so I started using ideas from my old region. So this little guy was drawn back in 2017, but I don't think it conveyed the hoopoe-ness, if that's a word. The designs weren't really conveying the idea I had that the feathers were going to be intertwined with the nest, so you couldn't really tell which one was which. And that's when I decided to use that silhouette method again, and then I came up with this guy. Meet Fluffoe, the nesting Pokemon. Fluffoe rarely leave the nest. They rely solely on their parents to catch bug Pokemon for them and bring them back for them to eat. I gave Fluffoe Roost from the get-go because it is a nest Pokemon, and I also gave it Uproar and Sing because hoopoes are well known for the loud noises that they make. There's no special reason that the shiny's blue, I just thought it looked cool. When I was reading up about hoopoes, I found out that they can be quite scrappy and territorial, which I thought tied in well to the second stage. The second stage evolutions are usually quite like a teenager, angsty, almost in their emo phase, which gave me the idea to give it the feathers that covered its eyes. At level 18, Fluffoe evolves into Plumewd, the fledged Pokemon. Plumewd have a stubborn personality. They will wander from their nest to attempt hunting alone. For the final stage, I leaned into the fact that hoopoes' feathers can also be called a crown. Alongside their territorial nature, I wanted them to feel like the kings of their territory. When it came to posing the Fakemon, I decided to keep its wings tucked away, because when I was reading up about hoopoes, I found out that they actually hunt on the ground rather than whilst flying. And you can actually see the beta version of this Fakemon back from 2023, where I obviously hadn't done my research and drew it in a flying hunter pose. Introducing Furropu, the crown Pokemon. Its crown of feathers stands proud as it stalks its hunting grounds. This territorial Pokemon rarely flies. Its name is a mix of coronation because of its crown and an upper, which is the species name for hoopoes. I gave it more of a physical moveset, using its beak and claws to attack rather than its wings, and I gave it moves like Hyper Voice and Screech again because of its loud cries. Although I said I wanted the Route 1 normal type to not be a rodent or a mammal, I still thought that the region needed one. So I made a Fakemon based off a coypu or a nutria. They're a weird little creature which is kind of like a mashup of a beaver, a rat, some kind of mammal. They live near water and were originally kept in farms for their fur, so I used that when I made up the lore of this Fakemon line. As you can probably see, I struggled a lot with the design of this Fakemon. I actually designed its evolution first, but introducing Furropu, the shaggy Pokemon. Once raised for their thick fur, they escaped captivity in the fur farms and now thrive in riverside burrows across the region. Its name is a mix of coypu and furrow, which means burrowing, linking with its pure ground type. For its shiny, I went with a nice mossy green colour to represent the riversides that it lives nearby. Like I said, I designed Furropu's evolution first, and when I was designing it, I had in mind that I wanted this big rat-like Fakemon to be like the nasty Pokemon that the evil team of the region could use. And I came up with that idea because when I was researching about nutrias and coypus, a lot of people said that they could carry disease and they're seen as pests, so that's where I thought it could get its bad reputation from. I was really happy with the way this pose came out. I thought it got the idea of like a really hunched over, almost evil rat-like creature. And then in the end I added some mud to its fur just to link to its lore and its ground typing. Meet Pelt Trench, the shaggy Pokemon. They are viewed as pests to the region. Their fur becomes matted with mud from their burrows and it is thought to spread diseases. For its moveset I added Crunch because of its signature orange teeth, and then moves like Muddy Water, Mud Shot and Gunk Shot to link to its lore and habitat. Then for its shiny, again I kept that nice mossy green colour and had to keep its signature orange teeth. So there's some of the early route Pokemon that you can catch in this Greek-inspired region. Let me know if you catch any and put them on your team. If you got this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and here's a sneak peek of what's coming next. It's a bit of a challenge video to see if I can turn randomly generated sprites into Fakemon, so if you're interested in how I turn these sprites into this, then stick around for next week's video. And again, thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time!